Hello and welcome to Learning from Game Guides, where I took a bit from one of my game guides, read it, translated it, and learned something. Maybe you will too. Although when I do this, keep in mind I'm no expert whatsoever. I'm just a student like you, like anyone. So if whenever I get something wrong, comment, correct me, complain, crucify, whatever you feel like doing. Okay, the first one is from Final Fantasy 1 and 2 strategy guide, whatever you call it. It came with the game. It's a pretty nice bundle, if I do say so myself. Anyway, it comes from early in the book, and start by reading it out. Tabi no saisho no mokuteki wa Garland o sagasu koto. Kore wa osama kara no jouhou da. Daga, tatakai ni nozomu mae ni mazu sobi to yu no wa joshiki. Okay, did you get that? Start from the beginning. Tabi means trip or journey, travel, that kind of thing. It's the kanji also used in ryoko, which means travel, trip. Basically the same kind of thing. Anyway, saisho, which means the very first. The first kanji there, sai, is like est. You can use it to make superlatives, basically. Saisho no mokuteki. Mokuteki is aim, goal, purpose, what you want to accomplish in whatever. Let's just say goal for now. So the very first goal of the journey, wa I used to translate that as is, but it's not really is at all. Once I heard the much better as for a bit. First, it sounded weird, but it's like watashi wa yuan desu. Watashi wa, as for me, am yuan desu. Yuan desu. As for me, I'm yuan. And you can, of course, see it as I'm yuan. Just ignore the as for me. It's kind of like a thing you think of first, and then you move on with translation. Anyway, as for the first aim of the start of the journey. Garland o sagasu koto. Garland is Garland, the main villain of Final Fantasy 1. And what you do in the beginning is look for him and kill him. Sagas, that's to search. Koto is one of those difficult ones that I'm still struggling with a bit. But if you put koto after a verb in its plain dictionary form, it becomes like an ing form of that verb. So here you have sagasu koto, that becomes searching. So then we see this first sentence as tabi no saisho no mokuteki wa Garland o sagasu koto. And then that I learned from my Japanese course, that a lot of times you can read Japanese backwards and you'll understand it easier than the right way, for us the right way anyway. So then if you go from the back, searching, Garland, aim of the start of the journey. And then I translated it as this, because you always have to reconfigure stuff a bit to make it make sense in English. The first objective of the journey is to search for Garland. I'm still struggling with this every time I try something, but you have to read between the words a little bit. You can't be too literal. Because the first objective of the journey, okay, fine, but then is to search. There's no word that corresponds to to anywhere in the sentence. Doesn't matter. Anyway, next. Kore wa osama kara no jouhou da. Kore wa, this. Osama, king, the lord king, his majesty, whatever. Kara means from. It can also mean because, but not in this case. No, which I'm not a bit confused why no is even here, but it's the king's advice from. Jouhou is information. I said advice, but it's information. Jouhou, and da is just a casual the casual way of saying des. So is. This is information from the king. This is the king's information from. This is the information from the king. I'm not. The no shouldn't really have to be there. I think it should be just これは王様から情報だ. But what I think doesn't really matter, does it? Because the ones who made this book are Japanese people. I'm just the student guy, so whatever. Next. だが、戦いに臨む前にまず装備というのは常識. This one is the more difficult part, I'd say. It begins with daga, which is another version of but, basically. Tatakai, fight. Ni, to, like, it's like towards or direction marker or whatever it's called in books and stuff. But let's ignore that for now, actually. Nozomu. Now, in the book, they actually didn't write kanji for this one. I think it's because whoever made the book thought that it was a bit too advanced for the target audience or something. But then I looked it up, and nozomu, there are two versions of it. It's face, like to face a person, a challenge. Another one, which I don't remember right now because I don't have my phone with the dictionary on it, but I'll place it here. And one makes sense in this context, another one doesn't. So this one, facing. Let's go with facing. Mae ni, usually before would be mae means before, by the way. Usually when something is before something, it's no mae ni. Like uchi no mae ni jitensha ga arimasu. In front of the house, there's a bicycle. But then uchi is a noun. So then you have no mae ni. But if it's before and it's a verb, you drop the no. You don't have no before when it's before a verb. So nozomu mae ni. And then I translated it as but before facing a fight. Mazu, which means first of all, first. Sobi. And then there's a comma for no reason. It shouldn't really be a comma here, but whatever. Sobi means equipment. And if you have, it's one of those suru verbs. You can add suru to a lot of nouns to make it to do a thing. So it's basically to equip. Mazu sobi toyu no wa joshiki. There's no des for whatever reason. I'm not sure why toyu no wa is there, because toyu, the only thing I understand toyu as right now is it's something that's called. What comes before toyu is something that's being called something. Like, watashi wa Yuhan toyu otoko desu. I am guy called Yuan. So called. So here's like, mazu sobi toyu no wa joshiki. Joshiki means common sense. So I think toyu is like used as a kind of underline thing, like an emphasis thing to like, it's kind of dumb it down a bit to say like, there's this thing called equipment, okay? It's common sense. Do not quote me on that one because I don't really know why it's there. It should just, to me, it should just be mazu sobi wa joshiki desu. As for equipment, it's common sense, but whatever. So the entire thing, according to me anyway, the first objective of the journey is to search for Garland. This is information from the king. But before facing a fight, it's common sense to equip oneself. But they don't have to put that in. Japanese skips like really obvious things a lot of the times, like watashi wa. You don't always have to start everything with watashi wa something something. If you establish it first and then keep going on about yourself, you don't have to keep saying me. Apparently, if you do that in Japan, you come off really self-centered. Anyway, that was my translation of a thing. Learning from game guides. Shuryo!